Meantime, we have our own special guest. We have NFIB State Director Jeff Burdett. And Jeff, some concerning numbers have come out saying the Small Business Optimism Index reached the highest reading of the year in June at 91.5. That's a 1% increase from last month. That has to be concerning revelation not only for you, but for our small business owners.
Yes, thanks, Laura. Yeah, so it has ticked up a little bit, but you can still see that in the Small Business Optimism Index for 30 consecutive months, we're still below the 50-year average. And what these folks in the small business community are pointing out consistently is their major concerns are inflation and labor shortages. And even though you're hearing things about inflation coming down, it doesn't seem to be trickling down into the small business economy.
Well, Jeff, what are some of the other key findings in this survey that caught your attention and why?
Yeah, so we have, obviously, inflation continues to be a top concern, and that's affecting everything from the cost of goods, services, the raw materials out there. But really, the labor shortages, I think, is the major thing. And what we have here is you had 37% of owners that have job openings that they still can't fill in a current period. And this has been very consistent. I mean, we've been seeing 37 and 40%, which is historically very, very high.
I'm curious about these labor shortages that you're talking about. Is that just people not willing to apply for these jobs, or they're not paying enough? Why are we seeing these labor shortages?
Well, we keep wondering that as well, because the increases of compensation continue to go up month after month, and in fact, we see the majority of our companies having to raise compensation in order to find these workers. But unfortunately, even with that, you have a large majority of these companies with job openings that they either get no applications or no qualified applications when they put out a job opening.
Well, we're talking to NFIB State Director Jeff Burdett about some of the findings here. Let me talk about this survey. I had a question. How is this really affecting small business owners? You talk to them, you speak to them, obviously, and things of that nature. Tell us, what things is it preventing them from being able to do, expand? What types of things are they struggling with?
That's exactly right. They would like to be able to expand. And, with small businesses, what you need to do is have some kind of certainty looking out, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road. And I don't think that most of the small business owners I talk to feel very confident about where the economy is going, whether that being this election cycle coming up this year or some of the things that are coming out of the administration, especially on the federal level, with some of the regulations that are not really helping small businesses. I mean, for small businesses to succeed, what you need to have is a good regulatory environment, and you need to have a good tax environment. And I think with what's going on right now at some of the levels of government, it is really, it's making it hard for them to see and plan for those 6 months, a year down the road.
Is there anything that you're seeing, either from this survey or just with what's going on, that could potentially lead us to a more positive trend moving it forward in the future?
Well, I think if we can level out some of this inflation, that will help. But even if you level out inflation where we are right now, the consumer price index is 20% higher than it was just in 2021. So in 3 years, you have, and I think you all feel that, and your listeners feel that. It's the increase in prices, and those costs have to be borne somewhere, but we've got to get that leveled out. And then I think if we can do that, maybe that can level out some of the compensation and figure out if we can get some of the labor shortages figured out as well.
Well, I know with sales, you have a net negative 12% of all owners reporting higher nominal sales in the past 3 months. Are they looking for that to kind of increase? That's all due to the economy as well, right?
It is, and I think you've seen this. I mean, as these prices have continued, and I think that's what's kind of leveling out some of the inflation is people just can't afford to buy things, and so that is, that does make the prices kind of level out, but it's also not helping the small business owners sell anything.
Exactly. NFIB State Director Jeff Burdett, thank you for joining us.